This is Kenneth Brooks, and this is the channel that I dedicate to my great grandmother Beata Brooks. Like I said, man, my grandmother had so many things she said. She said so many things, different sayings, different cliches. My great grandmother Beata Brooks was an amazing woman, man. She was a different breed of an individual. She lived to be 107 years of age, and she had so many sayings, man. She said so many different things, man. Some in the milk ain't white. That's one of her favorite sayings. She also said, "I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I still cut you." Um, the son need to get them clouds out the way so Arthur can leave me alone. She's talking about arthritis, man. She said when it was cloud outside, arthritis was acting up. She said it was a blessing to get old, but it was so inconvenient, man. So many different things, man. My great grandmother said, man. Beata Brooks had a way with words, and and I dedicate this to my great grandmother Beata Brooks. Like I said before, she lived to be 107 years old. She lived a long life, and she had so much wisdom stored up, and she was a big part of my life growing up as a young man, and until an old man today at 50 years of age. But anyway, man, the topic I want to use today is when a giant sleep, keep him sleep, because when he wakes up, he's going to destroy the whole town. When a giant is asleep, keep him asleep, because when he wakes up, he's going to destroy the whole town. And I'm going to tell you how we got to that assessment right there. There was a guy, I grew up in the Smithfield community in Birmingham, Alabama, on Fort Terrace, where my great grandmother Beata Brooks lived. And it was a poverty-stricken community, but it was a community, a tight-knit community. Everybody was very close and very loving community. My grandmother was beloved by everyone in the community because she was like one of the oldest people in the community, pretty much. And there's a lot of elderly people in the community as a whole. Like I said, it was a poverty-stricken community I grew up in. But at the same time, man, what I will always remember is the fact that no one knew they was poor because everybody was poor. Everybody was poor, so you didn't know you was poor. So you had a good time growing up, man. You had a good life, and everybody loved each other. Everybody got along, and it was no selfishness back in those days, man. It was just unity among our people, man. And there was a guy in the community, man. Never knew his name to this day. He didn't talk. Only thing he did was ride a bicycle, man. And he had a basket on the front of that bicycle, and he had a lot of tools in that bicycle basket, man. And he was poor as well. And he just ride around on the bike all the time, doing odd jobs throughout the community at different people's houses. He can do a lot of things, man. He was a talented guy, but he never spoke a word. He never spoke one word, man. I never heard the guy speak a day in my life, and I seen this guy for years since I was a little kid. And when he ride by on his bike, he'll just nod his head at you. Just all he do was just nod his head, and he'll speak, and then he'll smile, and that's it. And he wouldn't talk. And he would sit on his porch at night and had a candle. I don't think the guy had electricity at all, because the only thing I seen him use was candles. His house was always dark, very dark at night, and you couldn't see nothing on this but a candle burning on the front porch, and he'd be reading a paper or something, and smoking on a pipe. And but he did different jobs throughout the whole community of Smithfield, man. Everybody used to get this guy to do work for him, and like I said before, I never knew the guy's name. He's a real nice guy. He just didn't talk. I just thought he couldn't talk. I actually thought he was a mute, to be honest with you. And so one day I got home from school, and I was walking down the street, and I saw his bike in front of my big mama's yard, and parked right there in the yard in front of the house. I said, "What's going on with this guy at Big Mama's house?" So I walked down the street. He was there at the house. When I walked inside the house, It was in the back porch. And my big mama had a big giant deep freeze on the back porch, and she just have a big garden. And my big mama just grow a assortment of things in that garden, man. Peas, squash, greens, collards, and turnips. My big mama even grew watermelon, man. Sometimes she'll grow potatoes. There's certain things that she would grow on the back end of her garden, like potatoes and watermelon, every other year. She wouldn't plant them every year because she said she had to get the soil a chance to reproduce and gather their strength. She said something like that. And she said the soil be weak from the pull on tomatoes and cantaloupe and potatoes. And she planted them on the far end and the back end of the garden. She never planted them in the midst of the garden. She said, because she did, she said take everything away from the garden. And she had so many things she had in that garden, man. I just hate going out there working in that garden, man. And I just complain about it, man. Like I said before, I was a complainer, man. And my big mom just tell me, stop complaining about your darn back, boy. You ain't got no back. You got a grizzle. You ain't got no back. You got a grizzle. That's another one of her things she used to say, man. You ain't got a back. You got a grizzle. I had to work the fields when I was in the 3rd grade. I had to drop out of school in the 3rd grade to work the fields to help my mama and daddy survive, boy. I had to have blisters on my back. I said, Lord, have mercy. I had to open that can of worms every other week, man. Same speech, man. But she just get on me about that, man. But anyway, she had a deep freezer on the back porch, like I said, a big deep freezer, and she had an assortment of items that she would have in that thing. It'd be packed, man. My grandma would cook. She'll bake like 20 sweet potato pies and just put them in the freezer, man. And she had so many. She'll bag up everything. She had everything in bags and little clear bags like Ziploc bags or whatever, freezer bags or whatever. And she had stacks of things in that thing, man. And I had an uncle used to go fishing a lot, man. And my grandma had a lot of fish in that freezer, man, frozen fish, man, and steaks cut up in big steaks, man, and frozen fish, and she had everything, man. And so she would give it out all the time, man. And she was a very giving woman, but when the freezer gets so full, she just started giving it out to different people, man. And this particular guy, like I said, he was a poverty-stricken guy like everyone else, man. But my grandma was a very giving woman, and she was giving him some food, man. And he had a bag. And she was just loading it up. And she said, all right, now, I ain't got nothing else to give you now. That should last you for at least a couple of weeks. And he said, he didn't say anything. He just nodded his head like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought he couldn't talk. I really thought he couldn't talk. But I forgot. I never knew the guy's name. But my grandma used to call him something. I can't even remember what the term she used to call this guy. And But I never knew this guy's name. I never heard him speak a word in years of my whole life, man. I was a young kid seeing this man riding that bike and had items, all kind of tools in the front of that and the bike in that basket. And like I said, man, he do all kind of things, man. Yard work, construction work around the house, odd little jobs, man. I guess to make ends meet, man. To be honest with you, man, it was a hard time for everybody, and it was poor. But like I said, we didn't know we was poor because everybody was poor, so it didn't matter to us, man. And this man, he nodded his head, and she said, you take good care of yourself now. And he just nodded his head real fast. He was smiling real quick. He was smiling and nodding his head real fast, and at the same time, he was smiling and nodding real quick. And he left and got on his bicycle and went back home. And so my grandma said he needed something to eat. He was hungry. I said, oh, okay, big mom. And I seen this all the time. It was nothing new to me to see this, but it was strange that I seen this guy because I never seen him in my big mama's house before. But she knew who he was. And lo and behold, man, one day, man, somebody stole this man's bike, man. And man, all devil broke loose, man. Somebody stole this man's bike, and that joker, that was his living, man. That was how he got made a living, man, with that bicycle and his tools. And somebody stole the man's bike, man. And man, that man went completely berserk, man. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Man, he was cussing. I ain't never heard this man. I have never heard this man speak a word in my life. And this man was cursing, man, to the highest degree of Curse City. I mean, this man was cursing, and he was saying he was going to beat the you know what out of everybody. If he catch anybody on his bike, he was going to beat the living you know what out of them and all this stuff, man. And he was just tearing up everything, man. I mean, he was just going through the community tearing up. He was just going on people's porches, throwing out their porch gear, the swing set and everything. Man, he just slinging everything out in people's yards. I mean, this joker lost it, man. I was scared to death, man. This man was just going down the street doing this house to house, going across the road, back and forth. He'll do one house, go across the street, do another house, do 2 or 3 houses on one side, go across the street, do 2 or 3 more houses. He was just tearing up everything, throwing garbage cans, everything. I mean, he just lost it, man. And this man tore everyone's stuff up in the neighborhood, man. Tore their house up. And he didn't touch my big mama house one time. He walked right by my big mama house and they said nothing. My big mama was just standing out there on the front porch, just crocheting, like she wasn't worried about nothing, man. He didn't say nothing to my big mama. He just walked right by our house, man, like the blood of the lamb was over the doorpost, man. Like the blood of the lamb was over the doorpost with my big mama, man, because he was a death angel at that moment, man. I'm serious, man. He was wreaking havoc, man, and just went back home and just was still fire red, man. He was hot and cussing. My big mama said she never said nothing, so I said, "Big mama, what that man problem is?" My big mama didn't say nothing. And so later on that night, I was sitting at the table. I guess she could see what I was thinking about because I was really befuddled about what I had seen, man. And she said, "A giant that sleep, keep him sleep, because if he wake up, he's gonna destroy the whole town." I said, "Big mama, what you mean?" She said, "A giant that sleep, keep him sleep, because if he wake up, he's gonna destroy the whole town. He ain't trying to." He said, "But a giant can't help himself. He's gonna tear up everything just walking. So you want to keep him asleep because you wake him up and he start walking, everything gonna get destroyed. So keep a giant asleep because if he wakes up, he's gonna destroy the whole town." And man, that stuck with me for the rest of my life, man. And I think about that to this day, man. I don't know what happened to that guy. Never knew anything happened to that guy, man. But they woke a sleeping giant up that day, man. It was complete destruction, man. I'm telling you, man. And that's Beata Brooks, man. Said away with words. And these are words from my big mama, man. Beata Brooks, the greatest thing that God ever created, man. The wonderful woman. Y'all be good, man.